better film to start my series of reviews than the most recent incarnation, 2004 film of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. I think it's fair to say that most people heard about The Phantom through the musical. I know I did. It was a great piece of entertainment that cried out to be made into a movie. Andrew Lloyd Webber was supposed to be making it 20 years ago or so, but things all fell apart due to his divorce with Sarah Brightman. Back then, Andrew Lloyd Webber chose Joel Schumacher to direct the film on the strength of The Lost Boys. Well, that's all well and good, but he made Batman and Robin in the meantime, and that should be enough to get him blackballed from ever making another movie in his life.
Yes!
That was a film that was so bad he actually had to make a public apology for it.
If I disappointed them in any way, then I really want to apologize, because it wasn't my intention. My intention was just to entertain them.
With Schumacher at the helm, fans were naturally very worried, and the fact that he was making a film without the original duo of Michael Crawford and Sarah Brightman worried many, and even sparked a big online petition. Fat lot of good that did. Anyway, I could sort of see why they didn't want to have Sarah Brightman as Christine. She would have been nearly 45 years old at the time, and the character of Christine is supposed to be a very young, innocent girl, so casting Emmy Rossum was definitely a good move. Don't get me wrong, Sarah Brightman is a vastly superior singer. In fact, I think she's one of the best female singers of all time, but she just can't act. I mean, look at her! Look how weird she is in these videos. This was back in the 1980s, so you can imagine what she's like now. Anyway, with a supremely weird director in charge and a cast of unknowns in the film, my hopes weren't particularly high for this version. But I have to be fair, it does a pretty good job. There are many good things about this film. The first has to be the music. Just to hear one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's greatest scores blasting out in surround sound with a 5 million piece orchestra during the overture is just about the most moving experience I've ever had in the cinema. Da 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 da! Da 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 da! Da 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 da! This scene is just awesome and put my mind at ease about Joel Schumacher's direction. In fact, he does a pretty good job. Emmy Rossum is just beautiful as Christine. Her acting's not brilliant, but it's better than Sarah Brightman, so. Gerard Butler, on the other hand, does a competent job at acting, but his singing's not so great. I'm really not sure why they put someone who isn't a professional singer into one of the biggest musical roles of all time. I guess it's down to the fact that they wanted a young, sexy actor. However, that said, his voice has a rough, rocky edge to it that makes his Phantom come across as a real badass. Yeah, don't screw around with this Phantom. Look how he swells that cape. Oh yeah. The film is gorgeous to look at, nice cinematography and full of spectacle, with the notable exception of the masquerade scene where they really toned down what should be the most colourful scene in the movie. What's this guy doing here? Voguing? 19th century Paris? Why are they river dancing? Anyway. I do, however, have a few big problems with this film. The first is, surprisingly, Miranda Richardson as Madame Giry. Now, Miranda Richardson is a great actress.
Sir, from the opera ghost.
Oh, God in heaven, you're all obsessed.
He welcomes you to his opera house
His opera house.
and commands that you continue to leave box 5 empty for his use.
What was she thinking with that phony French accent? Nobody talks like that!
He's an architect and designer. He's a composer and a magician.
He's an architect and a designer, a composer, a magician!
A genius, monsieur.
A genius, monsieur! How come she's the only one that talks like that? Why is she the only one that attempts a French accent? I mean, why bother when everyone else is doing a British accent? And if you're going to try a French accent, do a proper one instead of some cliché Pepe Le Pew accent. My next big problem with the film is the unmasking. All throughout the film there's this big build-up before we finally see this face. And then we get this. What is this? This isn't a horrible deformity. It looks like a mild sunburn, or at the very worst looks like Jerry fell down the stairs a few times. I think if you asked pretty much any woman if they could live with Jerry if he looked like this, I think they'd say yes. But could you live with this? Could you? Biatch! Feast your eyes, this is a proper deformity. I can't believe they couldn't come up with a better makeup job than a film that came out 80 years before this one. Even the 1943 makeup was better than this. At least it looked a bit nasty. Hell, the crappy 1963 makeup was better. At least it was nice and colourful. I really don't understand why they made it so wussy looking. I mean, it totally neuters the really good Devil's Child sequence in the fair, and it makes all the lyrics that talk about how hideous it is sound just stupid. I mean, look at this face. The nastiest thing on it is that icky eye. Wait a minute. Look at this scene. You can see his eye and there's nothing wrong with it. Yet here it's really icky. What's going on? Was he picking at it in the intervening time? It just winds me up. I sort of get that they were trying to make the Phantom look sexy, but that's missing the whole point of the character. He's supposed to be freaking ugly. It's his mind and voice that's supposed to be sexy. His appearance is meant to be repulsive. It's like if they were to make a movie of Hunchback and put Brad Pitt as Quasimodo. And, oh, let's get rid of his hump. It does nothing for his figure. You're missing the point. Whatever next, they'll be making a Phantom movie where he doesn't even have a deformity, I bet. Oh, wait. They did. Anyway, look at this unmasking. In the whole movie, he has this beautiful slick hair, and suddenly it's a wig, and he has this big wild hair underneath. That's so stupid. In fact, the whole movie goes past the point of no return into silliness from that song onwards. Like, how does nobody figure out that the Phantom swaps places with Piangi? Did no one notice he lost like 5 tons of weight by going through that door? Why is there such an elaborate plan to abduct Christine when he could have just locked her in her dressing room and took her through the mirror like he did before? This added scene where Ralph falls into the underwater death trap is stupid too. What death trap is complete without putting a big switch that opens the trap inside the trap? That's just stupid. And I really don't understand what's going on here. In the musical, the Phantom strings Raoul up like he's going to hang him, but what's going on here? It's like some S&M bondage scene. I really don't see the threats. Is he going to pull up the portcullis and squish him? It's really not clear. Christine just stands there and does nothing, because apparently she'd rather let her lover die than get her nice dress wet. Hello, it appears we have callers.
It's Joel. Oh, Mr. Phantom, why were you so mean to my movie?
Oh, it's Joel Schumacher come to tell me off for my review. Well, while his movie does have its bad points and flaws, I don't think it's quite deserving of his death. Batman and Robin, however, now that's a different story.
Oh, Mr. Phantom, Mr. Phantom. Ah, no!